Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly update for May 1st, 2022. How did we get to May? This is my birthday month. Kind of excited for that. Well, I mean, I'm not one of those people who lie about my age or ignore my birthday. I'm very much one of those people who tell everybody it's my birthday. I don't know why that is. I don't know. Anyway, so May will hopefully be a good month, but we're going to mostly talk about April because the end of the month. And I had a really weird reading week. I don't know if it was just because I was stressed out at work or April is historically one of my worst reading months of the year. The 15 years or so of records I have on spreadsheets, I usually do not read very much in April. I usually have like a break in reading, and then I usually reread a lot. And this month has actually been the most reading I've done in April in years. And I've also done a lot of rereading. So it was kind of a combination. I think that kind of saved my numbers. But really, as I said, I was trying to get a couple books done by the end of the month, and I just couldn't do it. Those two, as a talk about, I just had to put them aside for a little bit. And I will come back to them. They're not DNFs. They're just, I needed a break. And just for different reasons, which I'll explain. But, so again, I did a lot of rereading again this month. Or this week. So let's talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So I finished Spectre by Philippa Balladine. Is the second book in the Book of the Order. I think I finished this on Sunday night. This was a really good second book in the series. I did have kind of like a time where I had a little issue with it between 25 and 50% where I was like, I'm not sure about this. I don't know if I'm going to like to continue on with this series. And then after I got past that, I just, I'm going to be reading the next book pretty soon. So this is a fantasy series that follows two deacons who are kind of their magicians of the world, where they protect the population from like geists and specters and wraths and gas and things like that from another dimension that is trying to come in and take over their dimension. And so they are kind of like that front line of taking care of those creatures. And the first book, the two deacons are kind of thrown into a situation with another character who has his own issues, but he is the pretender to the crown because his family used to be the emperors and then they were dethroned. So he's been brought up, but also he's on the kind of on the fringe of things, and they all get kind of involved in something in the first book. And so the first book, Geist, was really good. Again, I did it as a reread at the end of March, and I really enjoyed it. Again, it's not a perfect book. These are the densest small books that I've read. They just take a lot to get through. But the characters, I just love the characters. And I think that's the reason why I keep reading this series. The characters in this book, they go to a new location, another part of this world. And I really enjoyed it. It was more of a desert setting, so that was kind of cool. And this book just went in directions I did not expect, which I think was really cool. And the way it ended was just, I did not expect that either. So I'm really looking forward to picking up book 3. This is a 4-book series, and I own them all. So I want to get through this series here pretty soon. So I'm going to read probably the 3rd book at the end of May, and then finish up number 4 in June, so that I've finished this series. Because this series has been sitting on my shelf for like 10 years. Well, I collected them. I read the first book and then I collected them and just never got back to reading them. So as I said, so this was not a reread, but I was finishing this up from last week. So anyway, I'm glad I continued on, and I did enjoy it enough that I definitely want to read more in that series. And then, as I said, I kind of had trouble reading in the beginning to the middle of the week. I was just, I don't know, I was reading, but I wasn't reading a lot, and I was just all over the place. And then Thursday, I got to work, and I didn't want to read anything that I owned. It felt like on audio. I just was like, I felt like an audiobook, and nothing I had really I wanted to read that day for some reason, even though I had some really great books to read. So of course I bought another one with one of my credits, and I bought Heart of Obsidian by Nilini Singh. This is book 12 in the Side Changing series. So I've read this multiple times physically, and I just finally wanted to get the audiobook for it. Because I do own a few of the audiobooks in the series, and now I want to buy them all. So we'll have to save up some money for that. Anyway, so this is book 12, Don't Start Here. This is one of the critical books in the series where a lot of things that have been happening through the earlier books kind of culminates to peak in this book. And this is, again, one of the best books in the series, in my opinion. And a lot of people's their favorite book. This is my second favorite. My first one is always going to be Silver Silence. Anyway, because I read that a couple times a year. But this is next. And I look back at my some of my notes. I need to go back through some of my spreadsheets, but I swear it's been a couple years since I read this, and I'm really surprised that I didn't read this last year, but I did not. And I don't know if I read this in 2020 or 2019, and it cannot be any farther than that. I don't know. I usually read this a little bit more often than that. So I don't know. The last couple years, I don't know. I'm not sure why I didn't read this one. I know I read some of the later ones a lot, but not this one. I don't know why, but this is one of my favorites. It was great to return to this. These are narrated by Angela Daw, and she does a really good job of it. I really like her narration. Of the ones, I have some of the later ones in the series, audiobooks. So, but as I said, I'm going to probably start try to build up my collection and get all of them. Anyway, so Don't Start this book. Again, the Side Changeling series is a 20-book series, which will be 21 this summer. I said this is book 12. So we're following humans, shifters, and psychics, or they're called the Psi, or psychic abilities. And they are all vying for power in this world. And this is a great world building for an urban fantasy with, it's mostly a paranormal romance. But she has a lot of great elements in the world. All the books, build on each other. And it's just a great series. Anyway, if you like that kind of thing, I love it. And it kind of takes place like in the future in 2079. I just really like this series. Anyway, so I listened to this on Thursday and Friday, and I just adored it. And I'm just like, why did it take me that long to come back to this book? But whatever. So I did finish that. And then on Saturday morning, I finished The Grendel Affair by Lisa Sharon. So this is another reread. This is the first book in the SPI files. There's 7 books in this series. I own the first 4, and I read 3 of them. And then I had to wait for the 4th book, and it didn't come out for a while. Oh no, the 4th book came out. It was the 5th book that was like really delayed. And so I have a habit of waiting until there's another book to read in a series. And so on certain series. Anyway, so I never read book 4, even though I own it. Anyway, so now it's 7 books. I don't know if that's the end of the series, but that's all that's out right now. So, but I wanted to reread the first 3 books. So the first one is The Grendel Affair. So again, we're following McKenna, who is a seer, and she comes from like a community in that had her family had abilities of different kind of things, and they deal with the supernatural world. But it's one of those worlds where, or that books that have the world doesn't know that the supernatural element exists, and then the SPI group in New York City, where she moved to just a little while ago, is trying to hide everything that happens supernatural from the normal people so they don't freak out. Anyways, one of my favorite premises of the world building, when people don't know. I like it both ways. Like, I like it both when it's everybody knows, and ones where it's they don't know. I like them both. Anyway, so I liked her as a main character. She was funny, self-deprecating, kind of like she knows she's not that good at a lot of things because she's just a seer, and she's all these things that happen, a lot of action adventure that she's kind of forced to do, but she doesn't have the training for it. And her partner Ian is just one of those hardcore guys who was in the military and then was an NYPD cop, and then he found out something happened, and then he got joined also the group, and he's been there. He's her partner, but he's been there a while, so he's like, she's the newbie. And again, that's another one of those favorite of the new guys who come in and have to learn everything. Anyway, this was really cool. It does have to do with Grendel. some creatures. It was just really good. It was a fun ride. It was funny. I really enjoyed returning to this series. I'm hoping to pick up the next one fairly soon. I almost picked it up right afterwards, but I thought, you know what, I want to read something else in between. So I might read the next book fairly soon. Probably not this week, but I think in another, week or two. I think I'll try to get done with the 2 that I've read in May, and so then in June I can read the ones that are new to me, I think. We'll see what happens. And then on Saturday I started another audiobook of Nilling These Things. This is book 13, Shield of Winter. So I'm only about 60 pages in. So I had barely started. I did some errands yesterday. I did independent bookseller day or bookstore day or whatever that was. I went to Pal's. I sold some books, got quite a bit of money, and then I bought a couple things before I left. So at least I went out and did a little bit. Anyway, but I was listening to this when I was in the car with a couple of the other errands I did. Again, this is book 13. There's not much else I can say about this series, but again, also narrated by Angela Daw. So I really, really am enjoying that. Again, love Nilling Sing, of course. So reading that. Okay, so that's my first currently reading. So let's talk about the books I kind of had some trouble with, but I'm going to read these. I'm going to read another book in the middle of them. So I started early, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldier, I think. Anyway, I started this on Monday, and I got, as I said, I read this through, I think Wednesday, sometime on Wednesday. I think I stopped. I think I read it at work through Wednesday, and then when I got home, I started the Grendel Affair. But so this is exactly what it says here, and so this is not the book's fault. This is just me. So this says it's a high fantasy with low stakes. So we're following Viv, who is an orc mercenary who has decided to retire, and she wants to make a coffee shop, which is a new thing. And it's her making this business with a succubus and a couple other characters that help along the way and building it. And it's really cute. Okay. So I really like this. It really reads it pretty fast. It's fun. The character, I love the found family kind of thing that she gathers people around her in her community and people who start coming to the coffee shop when we get to that point. And there's some kind of mafia guys who are pushing on her to give money for protection, that kind of racket. Anyway, so I'm like as I said, I'm about 165 pages in here, but I just need to take a break. So again, this is not the book's fault. I think the book is exactly as it's advertised. If this sounds like something, again, a slice of life, it's but it has fantasy elements. But my problem is it's too slice of life. It feels so contemporary, and it is supposed to. Like, I think that's its aim, is it's supposed to be fantasy, but it has a contemporary edge to it. And I think my problem is I don't like contemporaries. And I think what I love about urban fantasies and paranormal romance is that they're technically, real, but they have that supernatural twist or something, or fantasy twist. And this is kind of doing the opposite, where it's a fantasy, but it has kind of a contemporary twist. I think that doesn't really work for me that well. I still love the characters. I love Viv and, I can't remember how she says her name. My brain just went out of my head. I'm not going to find it right off. Tandri. And I just love them and a couple of the other people that they've met during getting their coffee shop started. But it's hard for me when it's a contemporary and it feels like one, even with the fantasy elements in it. So I just needed a break from it. Again, as I said, I got over halfway and I just said, okay, I got halfway. I just need a break. So I will come back to this. I still think it's really good. I think other people are going to really enjoy this. I think it's a great indie published book. I think it's just really, it's a me and contemporary issue. And I think, if you like contemporaries, you probably will love this. As I said, I love so much about it. But it's hard for me as well. So anyway, I am going to come back to this. I'm not DNFing this at all. I'm definitely going to come back. I just need a break from it. So I will come back to that one. Another one I took a break from is Middle Game by Shauna McGuire. I got about 160 pages in, and something in that section is really hard. And on the day I was listening to this on audio, Monday or Tuesday, I don't remember what day it was, I was just like, oh, I'm done for a while. I had to just take a break. There's so many good things about this story, but it's a hard section, and I wasn't ready for it to listen to it at work. And it just, I will come back to this. So Middle Game is a kind of science fiction, urban fantasy. We're following Roger and Dodger from when they're kids, as they are growing up so far that I've gotten. And Roger, Roger's kind of like into words and languages and things like that. He's kind of a genius in that way. And then Dodger is a mathematician. She is just super big whiz on that. So she's definitely a prodigy that way as well. They live on opposite sides of the United States, but they are able to communicate with each other for some reason. And it has to do with some shadowy group that has to do with time. And that's about all I know how to explain to this so far. I'm really enjoying this. It's again a book of Shauna McGuire I do like as a writer. So I've been wanting to get to this. And I wanted to get to it before Seasonal Fears comes out. I'm probably going to have to get it from my library. So it'll probably be a few months before I get to that one. But I just want to get through this one. And I just feel like I had to take a break because it was written so well. I mean, not another thing where it was the book's fault. It really was just, whoa, I can't take that right now. So I do want to get back to this. As I said, I'm hoping to finish Shield of Winter and then maybe start this up again. We'll see. The audiobook I got from my library, so I still have 2 weeks on it. And I think it's by Amber Benson. I'm not sure. I forgot to write down on my little sticky, so I need to do that. But I really am enjoying the audiobook. It's just, it was kind of stressful there. And I was like, oh, I need a break. So I will come back to this one. So again, I'm not DNFing that in any way. It's just, I just need a break from both those books for different reasons. And that maybe it's just they were too much reality for me. That could actually be it. Both had the instant things happening in Middle Game was really hitting me that way. And then also, again, the other one's a little too contemporary for me for fantasy. So maybe I just need a break from those, from reality. So, and that's why I read the other 2 books, the Grendel Affair and Heart of Obsidian. Anyway, so yesterday I had some trouble picking a book, and I just finally decided I was going to reread at least the first book in the Dante Valentine series, Working for the Devil. So I bought this bind up 10 years ago, and I read the first 2 books and loved them. And I don't know why I didn't continue. And I wonder if it's because it was a bind up. I hate these bind ups. And I've decided I cannot handle bind ups anymore. So I have like 4 or 5 bind ups still left on my shelf. I think I'm going to get rid of all of them and just buy individual books. So I have this one, and I have The Black Jewels by Anne Bishop. And I have one other one that I might not do. That's Jim Hines. But I don't like bind ups. I don't like holding these big books. My hands can't handle them anymore. I've been working on a computer for so many years. My hands just can't handle holding, and I'm getting older. Anyway, point is that as the last ditch thing last night on the 30th, because I'm going to try not to buy any books until my birthday. I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to try because I bought so many books in April, and my dad and I are going to go to Powell's, on my birthday, probably, to do our yearly one to go downtown and spend our gift cards. And then again, I took some books in for credit yesterday on Independent Bookstore Day. So, so I could go, so I'll have money when I go on my birthday. Anyway, but I bought, the 5 books that are bound up in here for this series. And I just decided I got them on eBay. Hopefully they'll be good copies, but I'm going to read the first book in here for sure. And then I'll wait for those to come in, and then I might binge that series because I remember loving the first 2 books, and I do not know why I did not continue. I have not a clue. I hate when I do that to myself. Anyway, but I'm going to get rid of this, but I'm going to read the first book first. So anyway, so this is followed Dante Valentine, who is a neuromancer, and she's accredited So she's gone through everything. So she is legally able to carry her sword, and she has like a mark on her cheek to show that she is accredited and that she is known in that time of magic, and that, you know, she's supposed to be able to do that. She is, a demon comes to her door and tells her that the Prince of Darkness, or Lucifer, wants to see her. And so she goes she goes to hell for a little bit. So anyway, this, as I said, it's, again, it's a different world. It's like our world, but twisted a little bit. I don't know where it's kind of supposed to be, but they have subways and stuff, but they have different magic and different technologies, just a slightly advanced. They have like holovids and things like that. So it's kind of different. It's like a different world. So I don't remember what else is different. That's just so far. I only got about 45 pages into it last night. Because again, I was in a really weird reading mood yesterday after I got home from my errands, and I tried like several books before I picked this one up, but I'm really excited to get back to the series and read these books. So as I said, I'm going to read that. And then what else I might read this week, I have a couple of options. I mean, again, I might go back and read Middle Game and Legends and Lattes before these ones, but these are all kind of ones I might pick up. I did kind of read the first couple pages of The Immortal Hunter by Lindsay Sands. This is book, oh no, is this 12 or 13? I don't remember which one. It's the, yeah, it's one of the two. I can't remember. And it's the last one that I had read previously. So this is my last reread in the series before I can start reading new books. And I don't remember this one at all. I read this in, I don't remember what year this was. Oh, I forgot to write that down. It came out in 2009. I think it was 2012 or 14. I don't remember. It was somewhere in there, in that range. Anyway, so I'd read it. And this was the last one. I'd read all those in a row. Like, I binged that series up to that point. And then I must have just, that was it. For now, I got tired. So this one we're following, is it Decker? Yeah, Decker. And he is out to find a rogue that is part of his family that they haven't seen in 50 years. And he, of course, comes across his true mate, or whatever they call him in these. I can't remember. Life mates. And again, it's vampires that are hidden from the world. It's one of the funny ones of paranormal romances I love. She's a really funny writer, and so I love all the funny things that happen to the characters. So I just don't remember this one. I read it, but it's the last time I reread before I start reading new books in this series. And again, this series is in the 30s, so I think this is like 12. I don't know, 12 or 13. I can't remember. I think it's 12. Anyway, so, and the second one in the Rogue Hunter series, which is the vampires who are looking for rogues. Anyway, so I might read that. I have this bind up, Night Shift, which has, again, it has a Neil Singh story in it, so I might read that one. Secrets at Midnight. Oh, it's one of my favorite ones too. Which I haven't read that often. Anyway, and then, but the Lisa Sharon one is the 0.5 story to the SPI files, that series. This is, talked about her first day on the job, and it's called Lucky Charms. And it's about some leprechauns that are in for, I think a bachelor party in New York City, and it just goes crazy. And I read it a long time ago. It's like 75 pages, so I might read that. Another urban fantasy I might start. Another series is The First Grave on the Right by Darlinda Jones. This one has been calling to me since I did a try chapter on it late last year, and I've just been wanting to read this, and I keep looking at it and I'm like, I need to pick that up. So this one follows Charlie Davidson, who is a private investigator, and she's also a Grim Reaper. So the dead come and talk to her and stuff like that. So I don't know. I've only read the first 2 chapters when I did the try chapter tag. And then I did read a little bit yesterday to go, oh yeah, I remember this. So again, I almost picked this one up, and then I picked up the reread instead. That's how it's going. But I could pick up that one. And then I could continue with the Custard Protocol series by Gail Carriger, and Prudence is a book I have not read yet. This is book 2 in that 4-book series. that I own all the books. So I have 2 bookmarks in here. How weird. Anyway, so the point is that I forgot to look at the cover. Anyway, but I do want to read this early in the month because I'm trying to keep to read 1 a month. So hopefully there's a lot of these series I'm trying to read at least 1 a month and try to get done through them. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that is everything. I cannot remember if I mentioned that to say thanks for all of your guys' comments and likes on my I did the BookTube anniversary tag for yesterday because it was my 5-year anniversary on BookTube. I can't believe I've been doing it for so long. It's just great. And I really want to thank everybody who has liked and subscribed and made comments throughout the years. I really appreciate it. I actually now am adding all my social media links as well to my videos. I was really bad about that and just never did it. And so now they're all there in case you want to follow me on other things. Other than that, I think that's it. As I said, I don't know, this week could be interesting. I do want to just mark my 3 that I finished because 2 of them are rereads and I have 1 continue. So April is pretty much rereads and continue series. I mean, I do have 1 finish and then I have a couple starts. And I don't count some of the starts that I said that were rereads. They're down here for that reason. But so technically I restarted a few series. I don't put them there. Anyway, but that's April. That is a lot of books in April, guys. That's the most I've read in a really, really long time in April. Because again, as I said, it's definitely a month I don't usually read that much in. But I did a really good job. But we'll see how May goes. Again, being my birthday month. Hopefully I'll get a lot of good reads in. I'm hoping to continue a lot of series. I think this year I'm just getting back to what, as I said, I've been looking at my records and stuff from past years before I was on BookTube. And it's amazing how many series I was reading back then that I have not been reading in the last couple of years. I mean, again, there's certain ones I've kept on top of and I've binged as well through the years. But no, I read so many of these series that I'm pulling out like 8 years ago, and I never finished them. So this is it. I'm going to do it. Hopefully we'll get through a lot of these. Anyway, so what are you guys reading this week? Anything good? Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.